call this meeting to order officially.
Got it. And we have a quorum with Benny and Pat and yourself and Jim, Gus, Dan, and George on the Zoom. Who else is on Zoom, Chris?
Bill Tolofa.
Okay.
Who's the cat?
I don't know. I just saw a movie where the cat was Oscar, so maybe that's Oscar.
Okay, so we have a quorum and the posting was done according to statutory requirement.
Okay. All right. Let's just go ahead and continue where we were.
Just skip it and out of the way.
Okay. Confirmation of proper notice. Roll call again. Approval of the minutes.
I move to accept the minutes.
Second.
Pat? Yeah. Minutes approved.
Now we're back.
Now we're back to slide.
Yeah.
All right, got a color chart.
Pick mine.
This, I think, Tim, did you not bring this original? That gives you an idea.
I would say the paint prep line.
Yeah, Florida paint.
They probably do.
Okay. So this would be the kind of the.
Did they have a little aggregate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Since that's a red brick.
It's Skid X coating is what it is.
Yeah, that's the red brick color.
Anybody want to see this? Feel it?
It's just like sandpaper.
Definitely not slippery.
60 grips.
I'm familiar with Skid X.
Oh, the color? All that.
You did.
Alright. Got it?
This one.
That also a product that eventually we could put on the steps.
I have. I put it
Hello,
on
Michael.
the lanes.
You talking about all the steps going up and downstairs?
Yeah.
I guess it would it adhere to wood?
I don't think this drop the street is going.
But you could put the skiddy that's and
But
stuff.
there's
in.
enough. Yes. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Is this for the concrete in front of your, downstairs?
Front door.
Oh, it's on the section,
There's a lot-
The land.
okay.
You're quite welcome to put it on yours if you want. I put it, I got some, from
On the colors, I would caution you to probably stay away from the lighter.
Yeah.
It's gonna show.
I was thinking either
A lot
the
of dirt.
brick or the terracotta.
The sandstone is nice too, if you like that type of color, that would work, but the terracotta, the brick.
It's down there, right? Has
What
a
looks-
down-
What looks best with our colors?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I would think that the three on the right would.
Yeah.
That's what
bring in the
I
right color colors.
The
The brick, the
red
sandstone,
brick and the terracotta probably are closer to.
our colors.
Yeah.
Fence.
The brick might end up being a little bit too strong. I mean, it looks good on paper. Sometimes when they go on, they're a little bit deeper,
Where is that
Right.
one? That brick we got out?
It's gonna be very bold.
bold. Here's the word bold.
Yeah. Very bold.
So the terra would be a little bit.
Terracotta's gonna be a little. Milder.
Yeah.
Tim, right, that's a brick.
Yes. Well, see, it doesn't reflect, you know what I mean? This actually to me was a little.
Terracotta.
Well, it is supposed to be the red brick, but. I mean, I'm sure they would bring out a couple samples for you if you'd like to look at one and one. I think that for one of these, one of each of those, and put up for you.
Thoughts, board? Committee members?
Maybe terracotta's gonna be clean, I think.
Good with them?
And that's similar to the color that the pavers
I
were
agree.
prior to.
Mhm.
Can they see the colors? Can George and
Yeah, if you put it if you put it up to your screen there.
The middle one.
We're talking about the colors that would go on the decks.
Michael and George, do you see those?
George nodded.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any objections. Let's just go with the terracotta.
Terracotta.
Yeah.
Terracotta is always a nice color.
Yes.
It is.
Thank you, Michael.
You really can't go wrong.
All right, that settles that.
Right, what's starting date?
Well, that's
Yeah, well, that's gonna
kind
be
of up in the air. If you guys, you guys want to hold off a little bit so the people go home. I mean, it's not too far away.
Well, I think we need a couple weeks minimal for me to get a letter out for everybody.
I'm going to need probably 3 or 4 weeks too, so
Okay.
to have the people ready.
Well, then
Because we are.
So you're looking the end of February anyway.
March.
March.
Yeah.
So then we're after Easter and we good to benefit of people not being there.
I
Yeah.
think that might be it.
For
Because that's the only area you're going to get.
A lot of people here, I don't think.
I
will have
need to
problem.
get out. I need to get out of my unit of wet or. That's the only area I can see you might get. So if you
You think drying time is 3 to 4 hours? So I
I
don't
like the foot traffic. I mean, everybody's probably not going to plan on having stuff moved in and out.
people in here could either stay in for 3 hours or stay out.
Yes, with proper noticing, ahead of time.
So my letter would basically say that there'd be a pressure washing the first day. And there's no problem with foot traffic then.
Right.
But painting would be the next day and it'd be a minimum of 4 hour.
See, that's going to be another thing that'll come up, John. We're not going to be able to give them a certain time during the day. That's going to run into a little issue there. Because you're going to get some people say, well, what time are they going to be there? They're going to want you there at exact time. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody's going to do that, but you will get some.
Yeah. Well, we just went through a complete road resealing that went fairly well, and we had 1 or 2 call, but
Okay.
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Much the same.
The day before, you to give them a little bit of a time.
Well, that's what I'm going to ask next about noticing. How would we handle noticing? Or to be involved with that? You guys want to do that?
If you communicate with me, we'll
You'll get that. You'll do it. You'll get them up. Okay. Okay.
oh yeah, we posted everything for the ceiling and
Okay.
if would you just take this off?
And then the ones that you gotta remove.
Leslie, I'm in a meeting right now.
That's gonna be.
Yeah, those would be something we'll have to get ahead of the game a little bit.
Well, the board is very strong in its feeling that since we remodeled everything below, this has to be done. I mean, because we have situations now where there's polypebble up there, or there's some tile up there, and there's cracks in the cement we can't get to. That stuff has to come off. Everybody has to understand, and the board doesn't want to spend all the money we spent through the underpinnings, and then still have leaks going down there that impact.
And after doing work in this community in Spring Lakes over the years, they all have that same issue because they're not taking care of that top deck. They do, and they spend a lot of money on repairs. What I will need, I guess, then would be details. Something like this sheet that I have, but more summarized, like in order how you like the first 5 and then the group, which ones are going to have the tile removed, which ones, things like that.
We can do that because we've got a list of where they are, who they are.
That's been something I would need prior to starting.
And unless they're one of the big leakers, we can pull those to the end to make sure everything's smoothly.
I think
You want to go
the
first?
leakers, yeah, the leakers.
Well, the leakers first, but
Yeah.
I'm saying maybe we got people with tile and
Oh,
pavers and
that,
stuff,
that
and it's not leaking, save those.
I would prefer to do that if we could.
Yeah, they're not leaking.
That was that way we're not going to really slow down in our process and say we got some schedule that could slow us down.
But
It just depends, but that's a great idea.
we got time.
Put those at the end. You know about how many of those you're going to?
What, tiles?
I've got something here, but it's tile is only like 3, polypebble 2, it's carpeting maybe 10. So,
Nothing too soon.
and we have one that's done that garage type.
Oh, the plate.
Yes, that's gonna be an issue.
I bet.
Mhm.
I can imagine.
It's gonna be hard to take up.
Harder than the other stuff, probably.
Yeah.
It's probably fairly new too.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
It's in a very interesting place.
Are you gonna be there the day we remove it?
I lost sound.
Yeah, so did I, Michael. You know. Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's the office.
Here we go.
Well, that's what, so we'll get
Up,
the,
you're back.
Are you okay?
You're
There we
back
go.
now, yes.
Thank
I
you.
got it.
Thank
Michael,
you.
can you hear it?
Michael, can you hear us?
I can.
Oh, good.
Bill, can you
Good.
hear us?
Good.
Bill? Okay.
Okay, great.
This thing just must have turned off or something. Cause there was
Yeah,
no lights
yeah.
on when it came over.
Yeah.
So one more question, if that's okay. So for the folks that have the vinyl, is that gonna be ripped up and then this
If
new
it's an issue,
terracotta?
if it's an issue to anybody.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the folks with the adhesive leaking,
The leaks are the most important thing that, okay. Well,
Yeah.
the ones with the leaks, they have vinyl, they have to come up on first. They
Okay.
have to be pushed back. We're trying to fix the leaks first.
yeah, makes sense.
You actually got the final one with a leak.
Oh, no, the adhesive was oozing over.
Yeah, no,
But I'm talking about
they're not leaking.
Yeah, they're not leaking
Oh,
water, so
okay.
I know that they're not a priority, but I was just wondering what's gonna happen with them. Are we gonna?
Well, we're
remove them
trying to-
all, Or are we just
Under
gonna?
contract, come back and make it right,
Oh, okay.
so. We hope that that's gonna
As soon as he comes back from around the world.
Oh, my goodness. Like,
Think I lost it again.
I muted myself. It should be better now.
Yep.
Can't mute myself.
Oh, I don't know, James.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
All right, after slabs. Projects, and we got electrical issues.
Yes,
On the slabs,
Yeah,
I did you get a report of a leak at what next door here? What would that be? 236?
you're talking about, Dan, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Dan was in the office and reported it.
Okay. Before you go looking at the deck or anything like that, is BJ upstairs has all new windows, and I would check that first. Because I've had problems here upstairs where they, caulked over the weeps and everything else and had continuing problem. Well, I think they're done now. But rather than go tearing up the slab or something, I would at least check the windows.
Okay, it's, as I understand, she told us she was going to Texas. Is she gone?
I think so.
All right,
It's
well,
hard keeping up with her.
okay,
all right, we'll check it out.
thank you.
Yep.
Electrical.
Many of our electrical issues have been taken care of. It looks like it's an ongoing continuum, though, about future fail. What happens is, to run over for those who are not involved in it, or have not been involved in it, the FPNL brings the power into the transformer. And from the transformer, they go to what's called a handhold in the ground with their wires. And they contend from the handhold to the meter, if you will, is our responsibility. We have had to repair maybe 12 to 15 of them in the last couple of years. We seem to get more happening regularly, whether it's the age of the original wires or not. It's happening. Sometimes FPNL jumps on it and repairs it at no cost to us. Other times they won't touch it, and we don't know how or why, but when we have a failure, we just wait a little bit to see if they're going to do it. Currently, we fixed 2 in the last 3 months, and they fixed 2. The good news when they do it, it doesn't cost us $4,000 to $5,000 to run the line. So that's why it behooves us to wait to see if they're going to do it. It all depends. I mean, it's a very strange thing. If you go directly to the engineer in charge of this area, he tells you we will not do it. So why they do it, sometimes we don't know.
Is that because they shut off box? Some of them have shut off boxes or whatever, the shut off switch on the outside. I mean, our cluster, Dennis had one with a shut off, and I don't have one. Like, why?
It's because there's nobody above you. That's
Exactly.
if you look at it, you'll see that when you have the 2 boxes,
Mhm.
that's where there's up and a down. So that wire comes in and that splits. So
Oh,
it comes from the handhold,
right,
which
and
is
splits. And because we're ground, we don't have the box.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense now.
But the wire is failing. And so just last week, 538, 539, and also it happens to feed pool 5. The ground went out, and FPNL came in and put what they call a ground strap, a temporary ground strap, and it only lasted 1 night, and they had to come back. But now everything's on, so all the pool 5 is functioning, and 539 and 538 have a service. So we're waiting to see if FPNL is going to do it or if we have to do it. If we have to do it, our electrician has to make an appointment with FPNL, and sometime that takes 2.5 to 3 months because of them, the requirement for them to come out, shut everything down. I mean, they sit there and say, "Oh, well, you know, we know you got a problem, but we got you temporarily hooked up, and we'll get to you when we get." And we had one that lasted almost a year. That was 376.
You know, that was the number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the report of the electric issues. We have.
My theory is why they fix it is every year or twice a year I get a thing from FPNL wanting to cover that line.
Sure.
And I bet you that some people just thought, oh, well, I can just put that on my electric bill and it'll be covered. So I think that might be where they're taking care of it. If that particular owner actually just has it on their bill and has their insurance. I don't know. It's just my guess. Because I don't think they'd come out and do something for $4,000 for free. They didn't have to.
Well, you asked the people that had it done by then.
No, we just, if it was done by them, we just, I kept our mouth shut.
I'll be curious to see if they have it on the bill.
Well, I can ask Bill Brungard because he's the last one they did.
If he hasn't updated on his bill.
And
That might be what
knowing Bill.
Knowing Bill, and then he'll ask us a big person.
Pardon?
I think it's done twice. I haven't seen anything on the bill.
Yeah.
Because they replaced the wire and then they buried it and then it went bad again. And then it came out, replaced the wire again, and we had to wait another week or two for them to bury it.
Yeah, that was the bad one. They took responsibility for that from the very beginning for some reason. I mean, we knew right away that Gene came over and told him, but that one they just said, we're going to do it. That's like.
What's the effect on the unit?
Well, you have you've lost ground.
Old ice.
Yeah, well, when it first happens, you lose power on half the stuff in your place. Usually. Don't know why half then. You'd have to ask the electrician that question. But then they come out and they fix it and you're good to go until.
It's a two-pole system, so one of your legs went down.
So currently, I think it's 422 and 423 has got a ground strap, and then 535 and 536 or 537 and 538 and full 5. So we have currently 2 systems of ground straps that we're looking at. Okay, that's just the report update.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Do we want to do this now?
well, yeah, let's get rid of the owner request.
That's owner request. Okay, no, we can go to the big issue behind you.
All right, 224, 225, 226, maybe all of them there. There's a alleyway, and we currently have, 2 pumps? 2 pumps. Hey, Jim. What's on the phone? Anyway, Jim's more or less handles that for us, and I just wanted confirmation from him. But anyway, I'm sure many of you are here, or some of you are here, for the issue of the flooding in there.
Yes.
Yes. And the issue is, well, just to let everybody understand what you're experiencing, you might want to take something.
Sure. My name's Mark Garrity. Live in 224. It's a courtyard unit. And I lived there for 7 years. I'm only here actually during the winter. And I've had increasing problems with water invading the lanai. And the worst occurred back in January when we had a heavy rainstorm, January 6th. And flooded into my lanai quite quickly. During the day, my wife and I were there, and if we hadn't been there and started to mop up and put down towels and things, prevent it from coming in any further, it would have been into the living room and bedroom area beyond the sliding glass doors. And I've got manufactured flooring in there, and it would have been a big problem. You will stop it there. But I think the issue is that it's continuing to occur and it's getting worse based on our experience. And I'd like to share something with you, which is a picture, I sent it already to some people, of the, let's do 26. Oh, this is my unit. Pass these around.
Is that the outside of the wall or the inside?
I mean, it indicates there are two pictures there. One's the inside, one's the outside. And as you can see from those, we have
Steve, you want to pass right around?
One, here's
as you can see from the picture, the high tide mark, so to speak, or the high water mark in both the inside and outside is above the drain hole. And so that water, once it gets up that high, is going in the unit. It's higher than the slab of our unit.
Can
And
we see the pictures?
activate it is
See if you can show them on the screen.
oh, yeah.
I'm gonna add
Yes.
to what he said was on that given day, I saw the water right next to him, saw the water rising. So I got my umbrella out and I went outside, saw that there's two pumps. And the pumps have a screen over top of them. And they were completely covered with leaves and stuff. So I took all that off and then the water started to recede again. And I went back to reading and my wife freaked out. The water's coming in, so I went up, it got plugged again. So I went out there and they unplugged them again. Had I not done that, we would have had water inside of our units, for sure. Just to go back another year before Mark, before Mark got here, my unit did flood. I wasn't here yet. And I just learned this year that the lady in 226, she flooded the same year.
Sue Waldwood.
Yeah.
So I had laminate flooring, of course, all that had to be taken out, and then they had to bring in a remediator to suck all the water out of my unit, throw all the flooring and my carpeting and stuff out, and leave the air conditioner on high for about a week just to dry the place out. So that would have been expensive, but they accidentally said they were going to pay for it, and they did do it. So that was about $5,000. So I had to have all my flooring replaced, as did the lady next to the same year. I didn't know that. So every time I go back to Michigan during the summertime, I'm worried. When's it going to flood again? You know, I won't be there. What's going to happen? I have Jack watching the place, and that helps a lot. I don't think anything that is currently being done, I mean, we talk about it a lot and trying some things to prevent it from happening again, but I think John's right. It's none of these things that we're doing is really going to solve the problem. There needs to be a different solution, and I don't know what it is. But somehow, as Mark and I were talking, over time, that narrow area has gotten, the ground has gotten higher. So I'm sure when they first did it in the 70s, the ground was a lot lower and the water wouldn't come in. So there's trees, there's roots, there's all kinds of stuff there that's raising that land. That's causing the water to flow toward our units. Just another important thing here is that the units behind us are higher. Their holes in the bottom of their walls are higher. All of their water flows toward our units. So it's not just that the water's there, it's that the units on the other behind us, they're flowing out very nicely right into our units. So,
The alleyway is higher than our units themselves, and the levels in our courtyard.
Are there any big trees back there?
There are trees back there, palm trees, yes, and they drop a lot. So,
Yeah, that's what blocks up the drainage is, unfortunately, if it leaves, in the summertime, you got less leaves. And it might drain better.
but
Do you have screens in your hole? Or do you have screens in your hole?
I used to put them in, but it seemed to, they seemed to clog up, and then I had a bigger problem.
yeah, there's two things. I don't know if he had water going into his unit at that time or not.
Yeah, you have screens in there, and then that gets clogged up with the leaves up against it. It's just gonna back right up into the foot.
I don't have any of those at all.
Yeah.
They're covered up with dirt.
Or your holes?
I don't have any drainage going out. Comes out underneath my gate. It's the only place it comes out. And John put
Have you dug along? There's gotta be holes there.
they're covered up.
They're covered up by the silt. It builds up over the years. There
I
are
mean,
other
if you
units
want to
like
dig
that,
down,
too.
you can get to them. But you can't, they're not visible.
The problem is the drainage in the alleyway. The alleyway is only about 5 feet wide.
Yeah.
It's got trees in there. You got the water coming from the units, like David said, from the other side, and it's filling up too quickly, particularly when the rain comes down hard. And it's just it can't. The existing pumps there can't take care of the water. The drainage needs to be looked at, and
I think it's not the pump, it's the fact that the water's not getting to the pump.
that's part of it.
You know, if somebody would stand out there and just keep cleaning the screen, it would probably, yeah, it would probably take the water away, because that's what the pumps do. It's the leaves that are killing it.
What,
Another part of it is there's a grate right in the middle of where my unit is behind it. And that constantly fills up with sand. It's filled with sand right now. That's part of the problem. So my guess is that some of the roots have caused the pipe to crack, and the sand comes in there, because I've actually pulled roots out of that from behind, underneath, out of that pipe, and they're the same as the palm tree next to it. So that's another problem. Another problem is that somebody, before John got here, put a 1-inch pipe inside of the 3-inch pipe. And I was here with the guy that John hired to take a look and see what he could find out. And he was telling me that's the worst thing you can do, because it turned a 3-inch pipe into a 1-inch pipe. So there's a pipe inside of a pipe, and that serves to clog it some too. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well, but
Now we had to jet, it took them quite a while to jet it out because of they did clog.
yeah, I held him. I was there for 2 hours just trying to get his camera in there to see what's going on. He couldn't get the camera in.
are there any trees back there other than palm trees?
Yes, I've got one that was planted in my backyard before.
No, I mean in the alleyway,
In the alleyway, no.
just palm
It's only
trees.
a 5 foot.
It's only 5 foot
Not as-
wide.
Not as wide as the stable. Just a long shoot of about 8 units, 6 units.
If some type of a gully way was dug back there to make it lower,
You could go in and remove some of the dirt.
because
And
if he's saying, and you can, I mean, you can see the line. If he's saying that, I mean, it's sitting higher on one side than the other, naturally water's gonna run downhill. So it's gonna be naturally running into their areas.
what's the box made out of where the grate is? Is it,
Hey, Jim?
is it concrete or is it plastic or?
Yes, right.
There's a way you can do that by basically build a curb inlet. Like you see at a curb on the street, where you'd have to replace the box with a pre-made concrete box, or you could pour it and build your own. You come up, you leave a gap, you can put a plate over the top of it that's easily removed. So you've got water coming in on both sides. Then you have to replace your 2 pumps with grinders. They've got to be able to go in there.
We have that at Fine Hurt.
You got to be able to grind up those leaves and stuff to get out of there and inject that out.
But if you're putting in a 1 pipe,
Well, most sump pumps are at least inch and a quarter, inch and a half, and that's probably part of the problem. And if you go to a grinder probably requires a bigger line. It's probably at least a 2. If you have a sanitary grinder, that's a 2-inch line. So
yeah,
it'll grind that up and pump it out.
you would need a better grate system.
Not screen.
Not
Let the leaves
screen,
go through.
not even the plastic
Right.
yellow. You need to like a sewer, like a sewer top.
Yeah.
That allowed things to get in.
I did a thing, long story, but I did a thing that had a diamond plate aluminum top to it, and it's raised up about this far so the water can get into it, the leaves can get into it, and then that diamond plate's just put down with stainless steel screws, so it can be easily removed, and then maintenance on the pump, or if you have to change the pump out, that works out. But you need to have we prefer to have a concrete box in there that this drains to, so you could come up on top of that and build that on top. It's pretty easy to construct.
You have a lip above the ground level?
Oh, you'd be up 6-8 inches out of the ground. You'd have to cut around it. Yeah.
I've
Just like a curb inlet on the street. It's got to be able to flow in.
Yeah, but you come up 6 inches, we're still gonna have a backup.
No. I'm saying your opening is at the ground level. Then you come up with an opening that's about 4 to 6 inches tall, so stuff can flow in, and then cover that.
Stuff's gonna flow in.
It's going to flow into it. There's nothing to restrict it. There's no screening. Nothing's going to stop the leaves. They're going to get into it. The grinder's going to chew them up, spit them out.
But we would have to have a larger outlet pipe.
You'd probably have to replace the pipe to whatever they would recommend. And how many pumps are in there now? 2?
2.
Do they run simultaneous?
No, they're float level. There you go.
Okay, so both of them can come on at the same time.
Yeah, they could both
Okay.
come out at the same
So-
time. One come on, one go out.
So then you probably need 2 minimum size lines or 1 bigger line, probably getting up to something like a 4-inch line to get to get that out.
the grinder pump that we have at Pinehurst works much better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me.
So it's getting leaves into it and it's grinding them up. And,
We would just have to dig up, change the line.
pretty easy to dig them.
It is not easy to dig it.
A lot of roots.
Yeah.
A lot of roots. Trench it. Get a trencher.
That's what I was thinking. Run a trencher. Clean it out pretty good.
What about redoing the whole drainage? In other words, lowering the level of the alleyway. Because
We talked
originally,
about that, didn't
originally that was probably the way it was. There were no original. And now we continue to put in pumps to try and.
Where's that alley drain to?
we? Comes out to Sherwood Road. As you go into Sherwood,
If you lower, say you lowered the alley by 6 inches, 8 inches, is it still going to drain out, positively drain on one end?
oh yeah.
Well, you could still keep the palm trees in there. I mean, you're going to do some damage to roots, but you could curve around them with,
Are you still gonna get the units on the other side of the alleyway flowing into yours?
you can't change that.
Can't change that.
Well, we've actually put some diverters in a couple of their,
Uh-huh.
for one of their word scuppers to push it south, so it doesn't go directly up.
Uh-huh.
But it, when it backs up. Well, this may be above our abilities, or maybe it isn't. We've done a lot of work here in house that we never thought we could.
Yeah.
Because the ingenuity of people like who's got some experience with this. I suppose if you wanted, we could at least look into the cost of renting the equipment and make the measurements and something like.
The line that comes out of pumps now, where does it discharge? Out by the street?
It comes out, yeah, we've got a series of evacuation points, two of them there, that comes out into a swale area between the street and the units.
And that can drain properly and not flood there? Okay.
It's,
I just not.
it's kind of like what we have in Pinehurst, only Pinehurst just has a trash pump and it goes down on it just accumulates water, not a problem. This way would be about the same. I mean, for a regular light rain, it's working halfway decent if it's not covered up.
It's okay.
Yeah. But it's our heavy duty rain.
Well, and you can't keep up with the leak.
If we keep it in the middle, if we're gonna dig out some, can we start at one spot and dig out so that we drain south and north? Instead of having it all drain south?
That might be an idea.
Instead of overload plan? I think that would work a little better.
Be two ways.
Yeah.
Would it help to berm the north end so nothing from that field comes that way? I mean, eliminating just one source of water. How much water have you noticed when raining heavy from the north end of the alleyway? Is there water coming this way, or is it?
No, it doesn't, because there's a drain. That's where it seems like the most prolific drain is, and pump is. But it pumps all the way to the other end, from the north end to the south end, as opposed to just pumping it right from the north end into the north area.
Could we turn around and pump it somewhere else? Would that help?
Pump it north and north.
Pump it north. I mean, because there's several low areas. That's a big, wide open area.
It is. Where it goes.
I'm looking at that.
Like I said, if we're not moving it
Get through that mound, it is definitely lower on the other side.
You know, one other thing that will help get, if you want to do what you're talking about, Steve, and just help get some positive drainage out is, I mean, there's a little bit of money involved in this, but in that courtyard, you'd keep the trees, but you would pave concrete, just build a concrete swale from one end of the courtyards where the courtyard stop. And then that would help. Water will flow much better on concrete than it will in grass and
concrete the whole alleyway.
yes. It's only 5 feet wide.
Well, people, or could you just take it,
Just burn it in the middle and
maybe do 20 feet either way just to get the flow going?
The
I mean,
more,
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, the more you do, the faster the water's going to get out, and it's going to be
Yeah.
able to handle more water, the flow. And then you don't have to worry about cutting it. And I'm sure that's a maintenance issue back in there
Oh, yeah.
with it being that narrow.
It would be helpful if you found someone who's familiar with these, or like consultant or something, who could come in and give you a couple of options.
Well, we've used ZNR, I think, or ZN, whatever it is. They got a new name, but they did the original plotting in this area. They did the original swale in this area, and when we needed them to give us flood elevations, they came out. So I could call them and see what are the costs to be a consultant and see what's going on. Because they very familiar, are probably not the original people who's familiar, but they know the property that every one of them.
The drawings.
Yeah, they've got the drawings and everything else. Wouldn't hurt to call them.
yeah.
I mean, if they say $5,000, then you'd have to make a decision. If they say $250 to come out and look, still got to make a decision, but you got to make it.
We can do that. But,
It's hard to visualize unless you've actually seen it.
no, we've
I've been there during the rain and watching all this stuff going on down there, but if you look at the back at where we're talking about, you see, oh my God, those units on the other side are so much higher. No wonder the water flows right down into the unit. Right underneath my gate, right into my unit.
You definitely can see the difference between they're on the east side, they're on the west side, and it's at least that much.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, if anybody wants a tour, I left my number on the name and number on the photos there.
So we can hop on the cart,
I'd be glad to
take a look. Anybody
look.
wants? We should be.
well, we got a lot of ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll take every, Pat, if you haven't seen it, Danny, Gus,
I'd like to.
we'll go over, we can go over after the meeting.
Great.
Work. Steve, you and I live there, so,
And
Dan, I don't know, you probably know it. Yeah. All right,
all right,
be over there, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
good. Owner's request.
Okay, we have a couple of requests before you. The new owners of 364. That unit was vacant for, gosh, almost 3.5 years. And they came in and bought it. They've got an area behind their unit that is well ready-made, you might say, for a courtyard, but they don't have a back wall. And it's a very secured area where nothing else is going to go there. Because it's just got a sidewalk behind it, and then it's immediate trees, and then it's pool 4. And they're asking the ability to build their own wall from one side of the building to the other side of the building at their expense. So they want to enclose that area behind the unit that would look similar to any other courtyard. You should have a drawing in front of you. If you don't.
The only problem I have with this drawing is the idea of under the stucco would be plywood. You will not keep the water out of stucco. That's going to be the hardest thing. And then once that plywood gets wet, it's going to delaminate, rot, come
It's
apart.
gonna be all treated. Sure.
Even treated plywood will still delaminate.
I think
It's gonna be up to them to maintain it. And if it starts
I know.
chipping away or
Right around the corner from you, isn't it, Denny?
The problem with that is, if you let this happen with one, there's a lot of other units around there. People would like to have a courtyard. There's one over there's got 2 walls. I need the back wall. You know, and I don't know what the number is, 350 something. But you got John there, and he's got 2 walls there, because he's got Merrill on one side, and Alicia on the other side. He has 2 walls there, still supposed to in, you know. So if you open, if you allow him to do this, anybody else in this complex that has 1 or 2 walls puts on, you say, okay, they put 1 wall up in the next courtyard. Yeah, I got a wall next to me. I said, well, I could put 2 walls up. So there is it going to be a can of worms with a lot of other people saying,
well, we're not gonna let anybody build a wall out.
well, then that's, but
We're
there's some
just
people,
closing this in.
and I know it's a mess. And I mean, I've seen it. I mean, it's just got a catch all. It's got a huge palm tree in the middle of it, and everything else. I think the water drains to the lanai instead of anything else.
The biggest issue here I see is the fact that there are so many trees right there where you want to build a wall. I don't think you could. One of those is a big,
Big,
But yeah, it's huge. That's why you're not putting a
you can't,
block wall,
yeah,
because you need a foot.
we're back to the same problem we've got on the other units.
I don't really have an issue. I've been over there and looked at what they're doing.
There's a walkway right outside of it, isn't there?
yeah, that's how you get to the 5.
Yep.
So,
Forward.
4 is a
Yeah.
4.
Forward, yeah.
That's the number.
I mean, we've told, there's another lady, the one that wanted the wall across the back.
She wanted it back in the 600.
Yeah, she wanted us to go. And of course, we said, no. if you
That's
wanna
the,
build a
that's the
wall-
only one I know of that doesn't have a wall, that has a courtyard that
No,
doesn't have a wall.
two.
Two.
Yeah,
Two.
yeah.
And then plus this,
But this one is, it's not even equally has to line it up a little bit to get around those trees. The good news is they don't want to remove the trees to do it.
and the tree becomes their,
Their responsibility,
Their
because they're
responsibility.
taking it inside. They understand that. And the people that bought one over in the 700 don't want a wall, but
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told them they had that option. They said, "You kidding me? We love it." The eyes, the beauty, and the beholder.
That one just looks out to a little alley.
so. How many, is anybody objecting to this?
There are some products on the market that's kind of close to like a hardy plank. You can buy it in 4x8 sheets. It looks like LT 111. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
It's a resin based material instead of actual wood. It's made with some of it's made with fly ash and a resin base, and it's formed into a board. They're pretty stable. Plus, they're pretty rot resistant. I've used it's a product called Borla. It's a fly ash resin base material. It's waterproof. Life expectancy is 50 years plus. It's probably more expensive to buy this stuff than treated plywood's not cheap either.
No, I know.
I mean, I can't imagine what a sheet of.
Dennis,
I have a question. I'm right next to these guys, and I have a drain outside into their area. Well, not a drain, the wall, and try to clean it.
So the wall, it kind of drains into that area there, closing.
Does it come out of the back of your area?
Well, there's one of those weep holes in my courtyard wall that's only a couple feet away.
Oh, that's it. Your wall stands out a little bit, right?
But it's only a couple feet from the back wall of my unit. It drains into their area that they want to close it.
Are you east or west? You're obviously you're west of them, obviously. Yeah.
Runs on the other side of the side.
Yes.
The other option here too is on their section, they're showing the plywood and the stucco going down into the ground. Why not stop that 4 inches up, 6 inches up, so the water can get out? That takes care of.
Well, my gutter comes out off the roof, but it's just water comes out of the gutter into that hole where it goes.
You're on this side, right?
No, he's on your.
No.
You got-
There's no courtyard there. That's why it's coming out. No courtyard. There's courtyard.
Oh, this is the courtyard here. Oh, his drains over this way.
But it's a drain from our roof.
We'll have to go look at that.
Well, I think they actually proposed not putting a total, all the way down to the ground. And when we looked at it, we thought that certainly wouldn't fit, if you will, with
Yeah.
the aesthetics of the exterior. It would be different because every courtyard wall goes all the way down. Now you're really starting to get into different things, even though that may be the best fit to do it.
Show the people on the Zoom.
Yeah.
It's good.
That whole situation back there is not very visible.
Can Chris put that up?
No, I can't. I don't have a digital copy of it.
All right. Cause I can't see it.
Yeah, it's a little small.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I just don't know where my roof's going to be.
we'd have to extend the wall. Down, I can come over first. And I could ask Dave about the plywood. See if he'll.
I'd look at some other alternatives.
He's a real knowledgeable guy about
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. So maybe
And it's the contractor that did the sketch, so.
Yeah.
So we table this for,
yeah.
Everything too, all right, code, you're gonna have to have stuff that's gonna be thicker. Gotta be thicker. Because the hurricane, they came up when they did mine, because they put the stucco on the plywood, they said it had to be thicker than if they put it on concrete or on blocks. These block it had to be half inch, I can remember it was either 9/16 or 5/8 thick. That's what they told me when they put the stucco up, because they put it on plywood, so they had.
They didn't put half inch on it.
So they didn't follow code. On the block.
On block.
Okay, well, I was on plywood, they tell me the plywood.
Maybe that's why he's got it.
But this would be considered a fence, not
Yeah.
not
I
a
mean, not because of.
not a building structure.
Yeah. Like I said, it's up to them. If it starts looking crappy, they're gonna have to fix it.
yeah, there's a full form they have to fill out for
Yeah.
maintenance and everything else. And they're responsible for it.
All right, let's table this for next meeting. We'll talk to Dave, look at your gutter on your side, Catherine. A few other things. Talk to Dave about codes on stucco. On here.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
somewhere in my.
We'll get a look. A couple days. Oh, you found it.
The other request we have is, Unit 170 called in last week and said his daughter totaled her car because of some economic issues, cannot buy a new one, needs it to go to work, and she wants to buy an electric scooter. Well, we know we have some, but we also know the grave danger of charging these type of vehicles in units. There have been fires, there have been explosions, there have been everything. Unit 170 wants us to build a ramp so she can wheel the scooter into the house, charge.
No.
And that's a request, so I gotta bring it up. Yeah.
No.
No.
Park it in the front courtyard, charge in the front courtyard.
I mean, she could go to the expense of taking, many people have electrical outlets in their front.
Yeah. We don't have electrical
She doesn't
outlet.
have one, all she has to do is spend whatever it would be to bring it outside. We can't encourage it going in, but I had to ask the question.
And you had already sent out
We already sent out.
thing about charging
Electric
units
bikes.
up in the
I'm gonna
units.
reiterate that in the meeting today. Because they're seeing a lot more electric bikes riding around in here.
Oh, yeah, and electric scooters and all those kind of things require charging electric circuit boards.
Isn't it the same issue
What?
as with a car?
Alex,
Back in the alley.
okay. Okay, so
Anyone?
no, that's a no. Really
All right, committee comment.
How are we on replacing the carpenter?
We
getting
have
there?
one, we have somebody,
That's been done.
It's been done?
yeah,
You're way behind.
he's, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
We're fortunate to he's working 2 days a week for us right now. We're using him in concert with Wildewood 2. His name is Rafael Morales. I am very competent, and he's gone around and he's finding work for himself to do. So not only are we catching up on anything that we had, but we're making progress. Proactive progress, Michael.
Okay.
And you'll see Raphael in our truck on Thursdays and Fridays, and it looks like the Wildwood 2 will only need him 2 days come the summer, so then we have the ability to have him 3 days. So we're fortunate, he's very accomplished.
Okay.
He fixed some wood rot at my place and he did a great job and he was very kind. So good reviews.
Very personable guy, yes, ma'am.
Any other committee comments?
Where are you all at with the Spectrum or whoever else you're looking at for cable? Because that's gonna affect grounds at some point.
It's gonna affect what?
Grounds.
If we were to go fiber optic, it would affect the ground.
That would be landscaping. Thank you. You just I got enough on the plate.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, we've, just to give you where we were at, we have listened to Blue Streak presentation, we've listened to a Hotwire presentation, and last week we had Spectrum come in and give us their pitch for renewal. Part of the board's hearing it all versus farming it out to an ad hoc committee this year. And several members, or a couple of members of the board at least, are putting together a sheet, if you will, comparing everything, and we're still in the planning stages.
Okay.
I would say the best, if we go into fiber optics, we know there's a year's construction. They've already told us that. So our contract expires with Spectrum at the end of October
25.
25. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I
25.
don't say it all. They have offered us some enticing things that the board will have to consider. In other words, they're interested in potentially signing a new contract now, obviating this year's increase and next year's increase, and coming at a lower rate. So there's a lot of comparison.
Mhm.
Do we want to step to the future immediately, or do we want to hold it off and save a little money and then step to the future in 5 years? So I mean, it gets.
I have experience, I have rental property in Myrtle Beach, quick service provider. Switch over was okay. But problems with older and thinking work, support personnel, fix the problems that they came and did the work and left a few people in town.
That's concern for us.
Yeah.
Who was it, Dennis?
They want to bring in Zumo boxes. You're gonna have the same problem with cable.
Would that be required though, or is that a choice?
It's an option. Well,
They're gonna be phasing out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting that they always wanted 7 to 10 year contracts, meaning Spectrum, but this year they're saying 5 because I think they know they're going out the door somewhere along the line, or at least what their technology will.
Their offer is really enticing as far as savings now.
They're talking about bringing fiber optics into the pedestals, but still having the same wiring from the pedestal in. So I don't know what we've gained there. The unsightliness, the sound bearing, and they also promised to send a crew out here and make us look brand new. We'll see.
Wait on, see how that happens.
Yeah. Well, it's a tough balancing act. Yeah, presentation from
Blue Stream.
Blue Stream.
But one of the things, how many people stream though? How many people don't care about cable? I know that Dennis streams, you stream, right? So you stream, so you don't even care about the cable channels either. So I guess the other thing is how many of our owners stream, what percentage? I mean, we're looking at,
I don't think we-
When I'm saying a percentage of stream, do we need to have all the cable channels?
I don't think we know, Danny.
No, I know, but
I mean, I don't stream much at all. We could do a survey. I mean, if we wanted to find out, but I would say it's really hard to tell.
I know, but I think there's more and more, especially the younger ones that are coming in. Now, I understand people have been here 30 or 40 years now, and chances are, once you got past basic cable, they didn't watch anything else about basic cable. But I'm saying, I know that a lot of times at night I'm streaming instead of watching cable channels. So I'm saying the younger ones. So I'm saying, instead of having, 150 or 60 channels, when we get Bible books, they might not like it.
It depends on what channels are in that package.
That's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. It always. Well, the other thing is you could do the basic. The owner of the option. One. Right.
I mean, what else think they for water?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, we're not there yet.
I will
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
I will say the one thing that I found in talking to people about this changeover, they're more passionate about their channels than they are anything else. They're not passionate about fiber versus cable wire. It's what channels am I going to lose? So
Right, but they don't
I think if you started talking about streaming only, you'd have a lot of people upset.
Well, my concern was, I don't know. Well, I don't know if you were here when we had Bright House.
Yeah.
And and I was a snowbird, and Bright House was pretty good because you went away for the summer. You shut it off, and then you came back and they charged you $25 and turned it on. Spectrum doesn't give you that option. I think you get to do it once, and after that, there's times when you
matter now.
No.
We're association paying.
Well, that was back. Well, there again, we used to get the basic channels, and if you wanted more, you paid for it in full.
You also got to understand with Spectrum right now that part of the fact that we get it so cheap is it's a bulk rate, and we're paying, what is it right now, $60 some?
It's about $68, including the taxes.
If you weren't on the bulk rate, my Spectrum before was getting over $200. But the last increase I experienced went to $242.
Yeah, mine at home is about 180, but I do have HBO, but that's all, nothing else.
Yeah. So, the idea of the fact that you're paying in the summer, if you're a snowbird, you're not here, that's just rolled into that rate.
Right, I know.
So you got to look at that.
You pay for water while you're not here, too.
What's that, George?
You pay for water all year.
Yeah.
Garbage, everything.
I see there's verbiage up on the screen now. Oh, it's up. Yeah. I got to look around.
Did that show up when you replay the video back?
What's that?
The
No, it doesn't. I wish it did. Because I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't on the video.
I inadvertently hit something on my computer the other day and it read everything on the page. I don't know how to get back, but
the sessions that they've had with the fiber optics the board's had are on video. If you go,
I've watched.
okay,
That's why I was curious. Because
Yeah.
the Spectrum, I've seen it on paper, but I didn't see.
the Spectrum's on video too.
Okay.
Other comments?
Yes, I'd like to bring up the fact, about adding, carports. This was brought up a while ago, and I'd like to bring it up again, carports, for those who don't have them. I mean, Dennis is here for carports, Greg here for carports, there are other people who want to be, Ryan here for carports, Gus is here for carports.
Keeps getting pushed.
Everybody tells me, oh, it's a supply chain. Well, is it?
And after her. It has been.
what happened, Dennis, is we had an owner here, he's a contractor. And because he was interested also, he was getting it. Everybody says, I want. But then they say, how much? Okay. And so we went to him and he volunteered to get us a basic price, because even though it wouldn't be everything, but we could get a general idea. But he couldn't get it because of the supply chain issue at that time. He couldn't get rafter quotes. He couldn't get this quotes, and the thing just fell apart. Now Steve and I went around, and
I still have the list.
Yeah, we still have a list.
But
I think we come up with the build maybe 35 or 40 of them at least.
Yeah.
And that is somewhat, without anybody pushing it. I believe 45 or 50 people. Everybody who comes in that doesn't have a carport wants to know when they might be able to get one, or who can they buy it from. Everybody, 100%.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it.
So should it keep?
So should we? Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to do a lot of things. I mean, there's gonna have to be an environmental impact study done by somebody. So we're talking.
Well, is it like the clubhouse where it's not gonna happen, or what's it like?
What?
This project that you're now talking environmental studies and all the EPA work and whatnot. Are we gonna table it like we did the clubhouse where it's never gonna come up again? Or is this a live issue, or what's the next steps?
Well, let's say it has not been a live issue. If we put it on the agenda for the workshop for the board to discuss it and try to bring it more to it if there's this interest. Obviously, there's interest, but we can't put them all where you may want one.
Like you what?
Yeah. I mean, there might be maybe 20% or 50% of the people who want it could get it because of where it would be, and because you got site plans, that's no big deal. But you got line of sight for people that own, and say, somebody will say, hey, you
Don't put it in front of my place.
Your unit's over there. Put the carport right in front. Right in front. There's units that have them, but maybe one person out of the 7 or 6 that live there say, I don't want that thing in front of my place. And you got another issue to deal with. So it's a complicated.
Where there's spots for them. I'll have to bring this in. All right, we'll get back active on it.
I
had not heard anybody really pushing it ever since we.
Well, except that he says everybody that moves in wants to know when they can get one.
Well, that's true.
Right, they ask.
It's a small push, but it's a push.
Yeah. Well, we'll put it on the next building committee
Yeah, I
agenda.
mean, if
We'll
we
take
have
a look
to
at
come, I would have come when I got down here. I just thought it was waiting on some kind of number to find out what it would cost in general. In the meantime, the guy dropped the ball. I mean, if you want, I'll get estimates. I'll call everybody. You
Go
know,
for it. We'll take all the help we can get.
I mean, it's not that difficult to build them. I mean, I've been in construction and safety for a long time. I know exactly what goes into it.
It's where,
If we can come up with a general price, 10 grand.
Yeah,
You say that to some people, and say, oh my God, no. I mean, I've actually, one of the ladies who asked about it way back originally,
yeah.
she said, what do you think? And I said, probably in the neighborhood of 10,000
Yeah.
per,
Per unit.
and she just about had heart attack.
Well,
The
But-
prices of the way high.
That's very
Right.
let's say
More of a
a
bargain.
carport just sold in Pine Bay, in Pinehurst for considerably more than 10,000.
That's because of demand.
And it's because of the demand.
yeah, but if you're building, you look at areas where you could put three. Where we are, Steve, we have 6 visitor spots.
And nobody wants, I'll tell you right off the bat, there's a lot of people who don't want to have anything to do with putting them there because that's going to block the view out of our cluster. Just saying.
I would,
It only takes one person to say no. Now, where we can put it in our cluster is right in front of Tom's place.
yeah,
He
Tom
wants
said
one,
he would put it.
so he's got no problem. But
Yeah.
that's going to block you out too.
Well, I heard that in my cluster. Well, she said, "Oh, I don't want a carport," but her carport blocks mine.
Right. I mean,
Okay, well, we'll put it on the agenda.
Put it on the agenda.
put on the agenda.
Whatever you find out,
I'll make some
I'll
calls.
be happy to hear.
And I'll find out. I got to find out who decent contractors.
John
from up north.
has
I'll help you there. I mean, then I'll help you.
Yeah. All right.
Several people that, we were just getting the push because he lived in here and he was good free. As far as getting us a general idea of cost.
Right. You need a general idea. Is what you need.
Yeah.
If you're putting 3 of them together, or you're putting 4 of them together, I mean,
Each cluster will be different, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
You'll see from the list that we made, a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe.
I have
You know,
this-
3 can go
one
here,
cluster that we
3
really don't
can
have.
go here in the same as the cluster.
But
2 can go over here, but you couldn't do that in your cluster. I mean, so it's gonna be all different. It really is, because of line of sight and things of that.
I still have the list, so.
All right.
We'll put it on the agenda, we'll get back started on it.
right. Thank you. Thanks.
Next meeting.
So are we doing, are we back to Mondays all the time?
Yeah, Monday's a good day.
Then that would be, maybe the, 18th.
18th would be the 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
That is a big meeting. That's Monday.
At 11.
11. All right, yeah, we're good. Oh, wait a minute. No, I don't leave until the 21st. Okay, yeah, 18th is it.
All right, 3:18, 10 a.m. here. Any questions from the Zoomers?
No.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Adjourned.